Welcome back everyone to my second Let's Play of Final Fantasy 1 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, played on the Wii Virtual Console. Last episode, our four heroes, Albert, Beez, Chip, and Nichols, defeated the final fiend, the Fiend of Wind, Tiamat, and have restored light to all of the elemental orbs. So what do we do now? Well, the prophecy said we would restore light to the orbs, but it didn't say what we were going to do after we did that. So we should probably head back to Crescent Lake and talk with the Circle of Sages. But before we do that, we have some other folks that we want to go visit. We want to go visit this old man in Onrac who hangs out by the entrance to the submarine. His dialogue changes after you defeat Tiamat. I think it should change after you defeat Kraken, but I guess they may have coded him wrong, so it doesn't change until after like I said, you defeat Tiamat. Even though he talks about basically the restoration of the power of water. Let's give a chat with him. The power of water. Now our country will prosper like before. Yeah, we'll go down and talk with the mermaids. Only one of the mermaids' dialogue changes. I guess maybe they were running out of room. This was the first type of game programming like this for Square. So not a lot of dialogue with the mermaids change, which I guess is really a shame. It would be nice to, learn what they're kind of thinking now that the big threat of them becoming bubbles is gone. But some of them will still talk about like, oh, we're still going to become bubbles, what's going to happen to us. But at least one of them found out, so she should tell her friends though, hey, we're safe. Well, maybe we should just show them all our glowing orbs, all four glowing orbs. You have responded to me. Yep. And she says the same thing. Let's try to find, where is the mermaid who talks differently going to be? Yes, this one, like I said, she's still worried about being in bubbles. Don't worry about us. We took care of it. Still Daryl. I guess Daryl may be one of that lady who's talking about, like, how cool it is that we have legs. So, some type of evolution with the mermaids. Now, order is returned. The sea will be as it was before. Like the Little Mermaid, maybe she traded her voice for legs. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. So, making a live-action adaptation of it, so. But, I haven't seen any of the Disney live action adaptations to any of their old movies, so I hope some of them are good. Others didn't hear as good things about them, but it's been a while since I haven't seen many Disney movies since they ruined Star Wars. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you like the new ones, I'm sorry, but they just didn't do it for me. After The Last Jedi, I stopped. So I haven't seen the last one, The Rise of Skywalker. And I was like the biggest Star Wars fan. I had all the books. I think I just was really just, upset, disturbed. Would be a little bit stronger word than I was gonna say when they uncanonized, I guess, all the books, because I spent so much time, reading all those books and the stories, and then they just kind of like tossed them to the side. Now, yeah, I still, got enjoyment out of reading them, and well, some of them. Toward the end, the expanded universe, that non-canonical stuff with the novels, some of them got pretty bad. It didn't seem like they really needed to know what story they wanted to tell. They were shifting between authors, and they were doing like a 9-part series, and 3 authors would write it, each writing a trilogy, and sometimes it didn't seem like the one author would care what the other one wrote or what the other 2 wrote, or so. Yeah, was there too many chefs in the kitchen? Spoils the soup. So oil leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. So, alright, just looking at levels here. So we'll be trading around these weapons in a little bit because we have to go see the dwarves. We got the adamant on our way up to see Tiamat, and Smith, the dwarven metalsmith, said, hey, if you ever find adamant, I'll make you a really good sword. So let's go get that sword. That, I guess, should be your clue that, wait a minute, there's probably something left to do. Because Because, I mean, we haven't gotten an ending in this game yet. And we're gonna get a new weapon. There must be another dungeon. Where could that dungeon be? Well, we'll learn that when we talk with the old men back at Crescent Lake. Those sages who just stand around the circle all day. Although in the randomizer that Gyro guy plays, that's where I got the old men from. He calls them the old men. They wander around. It makes it difficult sometimes to find the one that has the item that you need. So let's give Smith our adamant. Adamant, now let me make the sword for you. Here, the best work I've ever done. It is my gift. And the sword that we get is the Excalibur. Second best sword in the game, can only be equipped by knights. So we'll pass the Sun Sword down to Beez. Beez will end up getting the best sword eventually in the game. Chip can get the defense sword. Has a little less hit than the Cat Claw, but it gives a lot more attack power. We'll transfer that one light X up to Beez, so that way if we get into a big battle with undead, we can wipe them out with 2 light axes and a mage staff use. Yeah, but you see his damage and hit went up pretty decently. So let's see, 9128. Yeah, he'll get an extra hit now. 96 128 will be the next. Will be his 5th hit. So those our knights, well, all our characters are no longer one-hit wonders. We just flew by Corneria Castle there back when we were first starting our adventure. We could barely take out an imp with 1 hit. Now our characters are hit multiple times for a lot of damage. Imps are really weak. Laughable foes. So let's just clear up some inventory space here. Get rid of all these old swords. Bane isn't all that, you know, has such a low hit percentage that it'd probably just be better just, you know, use our ninjas to attack. So we'll just get rid of a bunch of these swords and stuff. And now think about it, light axe isn't all that important either. So we'll just get rid of that. So I don't think there's many. There's a few undead in the final dungeon, but not a lot. So we're gonna learn about what the final dungeon is when we go talk with the sages. Some of their dialogue it hasn't actually changed. So he says the same thing. So is Lucan. So yeah, if you just talk to these first 2, you're like, oh, did they change their dialogue yet? You know. But just, you know, I guess back in the day, just wanted to check everybody. So we didn't have guides. And we already made the light of the orb shine again. Time will repeat itself every 2,000 years. Break the time loop. What time loop? I see now. Someone who traveled back 2,000 years is the cause of the world's destruction. After 2,000 years, he will travel back again, then again, then again. Someone traveled 2,000 years to the past. The 4 fiends were sent forward in time. Those fiends threaten to destroy the world today. We defeated the fiends, though. Time is repeating. In order to break the time loop, you must eliminate the enemy who patrols from 2,000 years in the past. The world was suddenly thrown into disorder. You must restore it. With the 4 orbs shining again, the time gate can be broken. The true enemy is 2,000 years in the past. The Temple of Fiends is the center of the 4 altars. The time has come to destroy the source of evil. Yeah, remember when we were in this floating castle, we were able to look out that window and it said that, you know, all the forces were gathering at the Temple of Fiends. And if you actually bring up the world map with the select B, you'll see that, you know, the Temple of Fiends is smack dab in the middle of the world map. So it looks like we've got to go to the Temple of the Fiends, but before we do that, let's go back to the Sky Castle. I'm going to go hunt down Warmech. So the people in Leafin, they might want to go back to their floating castle, and they wouldn't do too well if that rogue security robot is running around. So let's go show him off, and there's another enemy I want to meet there too. So it's actually a rare encounter. It's a 6 and 64 encounter on the Warmech floor. but that's its best chance to be encountered in the game. It's in the final dungeon as well, but in lower percentages. So, and I figure Warmech is a 3 in 64, so the odds are that we'll run into it before we hit Warmech. And if not, well, then we'll just wander around a little afterwards. So, I said the floating castle isn't all that long, and we're gonna get to see that here. As you can see from the length in the video, you know, there's about 7.5 minutes left. So yeah, I'll be able to get through the entire floating castle, get out of it, you know, and still be able to fight those 2 battles. So that just goes to show that, you know, when you are going straight from point A to point, D or Z, without checking out the treasure, you can get places pretty fast. So it's just when you're doing all that exploration, it makes the dungeons look so much bigger than they are. So, but that's neat. I kind of like that, you know, because you're going through a dungeon and you're, exploring every nook and cranny, every nick. Maybe I just saw that, because Nichols was attacking, my brain saw that. Every nook and cranny. It just makes the world more alive. So let's hop in. Whoop. Yeah, we just shoot straight up from here, and we'll be in the teleporter to the next floor. And then we just shoot straight down, and we're on the 3rd floor. And then we shoot straight to the left, and we're on the 4th floor. And then the 4th floor is that maze. We'll be going the opposite way in the maze this time, to just show it off. So, nice symmetrical building here. And then it goes all the chaos. So yeah. So last time we went south and right, so this time we'll go north and left. So yeah, it's 2-2. So south 2, right 2, or north 2, left 2, or like any combination, up, left. Well, yeah, 2-2. Looks like I made a mistake. I went right again, but that's okay. Like I said, all you have to do is, go that way. So here we are in the Warmech Bridge. Just took a little pause there for a second there. We're just wandering around here, and hopefully we get into Warmech. I got lucky and actually ran into Warmech fairly quickly. So, like I said, it's a 3 in 64 chance, and I actually ran into Warmech and the other enemy as well, not long after encountering Warmech. As you can see, I always want to try to keep your hit points when hunting Warmech above the 400, because he can use that nuke. See, he has a 1/4 chance to use nuclear, and he has that 90% chance to attack first. So, as you see, he preemptively attacked us. He just went for a straight attack. So, we'll, normally we fast with both of our ninjas, but I'm going to have Nick instead start using the white shirt right away, and just have Chip worry about fasting Boat and Beez, because we want to get that evasion up for us. And the white shirts can give that better evasion for our characters to help us avoid Warmech's attacks. He only has 2, but at 128, they hurt really bad if they hit. So, we want to try to raise all our evasion up as much as possible. So, but ooh, look at that! That Excalibur definitely helped out a bit there. So, way to go, Boat! We get 8,000 experience each and 32,000 gold. Gold, of course, is useless. Experience is always good. So, as I said, we want to get another level for our ninjas, so they get that other attack. They were hovering around 94. Well, I think Chip should be a little lower. I think the defense has it might have 5 less attack power, 5 less hit than Cat Claw. So we just wander around here. The last thing we're going to find is the slime monster. They're kind of like those mucks and scums back from the marsh cave. or the oozes that was a rare monster in the Oath Cave. Look at all these slime monsters being rare, so it's definitely not. Maybe it's a thing against Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest slimes are always like the kind of like their unofficial mascot. The first enemy you fight in Dragon Quest games is usually a slime of a certain color, red or blue. They're just like a weak, cutesy enemy that. In this game, they seem to be really, really rare. And no one's ever played a Dragon Quest game and not run into a slime, because they're everywhere, A lot of times they're like the mandatory first battle. Dragon Quest 7, Dragon Quest 8. They're the only enemies around the Tantagel in Dragon Quest 1. Well, that clears out the Sky Castle, so we've, like I said, there's a few more enemies that are in the Sky Castle, but they're also going to be available at much higher percentages in the final dungeon. Where's that final dungeon? Well, we were told to head back to the Temple of the Fiends, so it'll be the Temple of the Fiends, but that's a real tiny dungeon. Yeah, it is, but remember they said the true enemy is 2,000 years in the past. So we're actually going to be traveling back to the Temple of the Fiends 2,000 years in the past. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to place the orbs on this dark orb. The 4 orbs now cover the black orb. Take a step forward just to go back in time 2,000 years. And I just kept this battle in because it shows something off really interesting. Enemies have a morale stat, and basically it's kind of determined by your level. And when you get to a certain point, enemies will start actually running away from you. So you saw that one zombie fled. You don't get any experience if a monster flees from you. You do get the 1 piece of gold though. Help! The fiend's curse turn us into bats. With the orb shining again, we can now speak. The 4 fiends' powers rooted 2,000 years ago. The real enemy is in that time. We are the 5 lost Scar Warriors. 400 years ago, we battled against the cause of the world's destruction. When the 4 orbs cover the black orb in the center of the palace, the time gate can open. You must travel back in time 2,000 years. Now with the orb shining, stand in the time gate. Yes, remember the Leafnish said that, hey, we know our warriors still live, but there's somewhere in the world as bats. Well, here they are. So, well, surprisingly, there's no new dialogue if we head back to Leafin to let them know. So, once again, probably a, limitation of the coding ability and maybe spacing on the game. But the true enemy is now 2,000 years in the past. So, we're going to have to travel back through time. We've got to get a time travel juice available. But before we do that, I was going to want to save our game. So, come back in our next episode where we take that step forward into the past. Have a good day. Bye.